You're listening to KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine.
The opinions and views expressed in this program do not reflect those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. To find out more about this talk show or other talk shows broadcasting on KUCI, log on to our website at kuci.org or check out the latest program guide.
This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the Atwater Village Theater for the world premiere of Forever Bound.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
French Stewart.
Great. First of all, I loved you in Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Thank you.
Great. So, question: you're such a well-known name. You can do a lot of things. Why do you want to do this play?
Well, you know, when I read it, I just I really responded to it. I thought that it was incredibly well written, and it's nice to have a 4-actor play because it's really just contained and it's just storytelling, and I just really liked that about it. You know?
Now, which character did you play tonight?
I play Edmund. He's a book scout who basically goes and tries to find books and sell them for more than they're worth. And he'll go to, yard sales or out of the closet, and he's just hoping to get a bargain and maybe get something that's worth even more.
Was he a nerd? Was he an intellectual? Was he a teacher?
I think it's a little bit of both, like a nerd and an intellectual. He's a book lover, but also kind of a fanboy that just, loves, graphic novels, but also, historical literature, whatever, it's just, I guess a nerd is fair.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I think that they should, it's an hour and a half straight through. You're going to get some laughs and some pretty nice twists, so I'm not going to tell you what to expect.
Well, this reminded me of an episode of The Twilight Zone.
Oh, did it? Oh, that's fun.
First of all, it was an out of the body. It was kind of an out of body experience. It was just bizarre, but also, first of all, it was comical at times.
Yeah,
fantastic acting, but it's surreal, and it was actually very romantic at times.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think it's really well rounded that way. It's a bit of a dark comedy, but it's also very sweet, and it's sort of about morality and what people will do and for what reasons. So,
And actually, it's not that far-fetched because, again, this happens a lot. I'm not going to give away the story. This is very bizarre. It's very shocking. It's very criminal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But again, it happens a lot.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's sort of a what will you do for what reason? And some people will do something shady for the better good, and other people will just do something shady for money.
Well, I love the performance. I love your performance. You were perfect in it.
Thank
I was
you.
on the edge of my seat. I was entertained, funny, romantic at times, and I really recommend it to my audience, even though they're not going to know what it is, but it was fantastic.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It was really nice talking to you.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Ann Hearn Tobolowski. I directed Forever Bound for opening. This is our opening tonight.
What do you like most about this story?
I think I like the two elements. I like the intellectual, smart bookishness of it. It's like kind of the educational end of things, of like what books are and how we relate to them and stories, combined with the mystery thriller aspect of it, that you have the intellectual and the sort of unknown unfolding.
The romance side reminded me a bit of Shelley. The romantics of Byron, Shelley, and Keats. He, obviously, his wife wrote Frankenstein, but basically it was like he had a bizarre way of looking at marriage. First, he didn't believe in marriage. He came up with his own rituals of marriage and all that, but he was so incredibly romantic, sensitive, and at the same time bizarre.
Yes, I think that's well said. I would agree. And yes, there are elements for this certain character who has a sort of bent way of looking at the world and bending it to his will and his perceptions. It's creepy. He makes a very good argument for himself. This just makes it even more horrible because it's a good argument.
It's also very poignant to today's times because, again, even the criminal behavior is actually very common.
Well, yes, it's easy to just see someone as a monster or classify them as other and reject them. But when you incorporate some humanity into the Disturbed, I find it even more disturbing, because how far away are we, the normal, from the perverse? It's a fine line.
Also love your cast. Really outstanding cast. Extremely impressed by it. What do you look for in your casting?
Well, I like people that understand story and understand the story they're telling and where they fit in that story, that ask a lot of questions, that are willing to be vulnerable but push forward and just have a lot of talent, which I don't think anybody could argue that any of these folks lack. They're amazing.
I thought so. I was outstandingly impressed by the cast. So, one last question: if my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Some comedy and humor, some recognition of situations, some terror unfolding, and hopefully, if they don't read or hear too much about it, wondering where is this going.
Once again, I love the piece. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm at KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with?
I'm Steve Apostolina. Well, I'm a playwright. I wrote the play, and I'm acting in it as well.
As for the acting, which character did you play tonight?
I play the character of Shep. He's French Stewart plays Edmund, and Shep is his best friend.
What's your take on Shep?
Well, he's a guy that sort of straddles the line between ethics and morality, but he has a good heart and he does things to help friends.
Okay, also about the play now, because you're a playwright. So why did you decide to write this piece?
Well, I'm a writer, and but actually, to tell you the truth, I was in a class and I was reinvigorating my desire to write. And after that class, in 12 hours later, I had a first draft. That's what happened.
This piece reminded me of an episode of The Twilight Zone.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, it takes some turns, doesn't it?
Yeah, plus also, people don't realize The Twilight Zone had outstanding actors in them. They were stage pieces, but they would take you to these bizarre places in bizarre situations.
Yeah, my family, my wife and my son, we have a collection of Twilight Zones, and we watch them. We like that.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, they should expect to see a piece that makes them laugh, surprises them, and then ultimately makes them want to talk about the issues that it brings up ultimately.
I thought this piece, again, reminded me about criminal behavior, but also about bizarre feelings of love. Because I thought it was romantic in two different situations. One situation was a beautiful love story. Another situation was very bizarre, very controlling.
Well, yes, and not to give any spoilers, but yes, it's quite a twisted person in the play, for sure.
Well, I love the piece. I thought at times this was bizarre. It was ugly, but at some times it was exciting. It was beautifully done, too. It was artistic. I really love this piece.
Well, we had a great director in Anne Hearn Tobolowsky. She was remarkable, and she kept everything moving, so we were very fortunate.
Okay, once again, I also loved your acting. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with?
Hi, I'm Rob Nagel. How are you? I'm an actor, been based in Los Angeles for the last, 22 years now. New York prior to that, and Chicago prior to that. And here we are at the opening night of Forever Bound. New play by Steve Apostolina over at Atwater Village Theater.
And which character did you play?
I play Thomas, who is the book collector. That's all I'll say. I think he's a teacher who believes very strongly in the power of literature and the power of science and the power of learning. And he's found that his teaching career has decided to let him focus on a particular individual, played by Emily Goss in the play, and she becomes his kind of star pupil.
I thought it was a cross between Pygmalion and Frankenstein. What are your thoughts?
Pygmalion and Frankenstein, I like that combination. I like that a lot. I felt it's an interesting. I'm going to add Frankenstein to the three that I usually talk about, but Pygmalion is one of them, and The Tempest is another, and the other is American Buffalo, because French Stewart and Siva Pastolina as the two friends, Edmund and Shep, are sort of, they remind me of the American Buffalo guys.
Yeah, and my viewers decide to come out and see this. What should they expect to see?
I think you expect to see a very funny show about two guys who are kind of down on their luck and trying to find a way out through a heist of their financial woes, and then things take some strange turns, and it turns into an entirely different play. It's full of surprises, kind of like a roller coaster. This
reminded me of an episode of The Twilight Zone.
You know, I don't mind hearing that one too. It feels a little bit like The Twilight Zone when I'm doing it. It's a fun surprise. There are surprises in there that you just don't see coming, and I love that part of the play. That's what engaged me when I first read it.
As for your character, I thought he was a bit of a genius, but also extremely eccentric and very artistic too.
Yes.
Kind of a creator, kind of a person who also kind of felt like he was a little beyond morals. He's felt like, well, no, society, I dictate what society is. I'm not going to live by anyone's rules. I'm going to come up with perfection. I'm going to make art. I'm going to do something no one's ever done before, and the world will love me.
I think that's a great way to assess it. He's got ideas about culture, and he's got ideas about art, and he's got ideas about what society should be, and he says some very, very accurate things in the middle of the show, some things that you kind of have to agree with him on. There's a lot of trouble out there in the world, and we need to be careful. We need to be careful what we expose our children to, our students to. They've got to have a way to handle all the nightmare that is out there on the newspaper, on the TV screens and in the newspapers. And if we don't kind of take care of that, we're going to have a lot of people who don't have empathy in them anymore. So I think there's a lot to be said for what you just said, and I love that you said Frankenstein, because there's something mad genius about that.
I love the piece. I thought it was fantastic. I loved your acting. I loved everyone's acting. It was exciting, a roller coaster, and I don't think I've ever seen anything like it in my life.
I agree with you. I've never done a play like this before, so it's a fun one to do. I haven't seen anything like it either, and I hope audiences feel the same way. People seem to be abuzz with it. It's a fun ride.
All right, thank you very much for being on the show. I really loved it.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm at KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Emily Goss. I mean, thank you so much for coming to see opening night of Forever Bound. It means the world to us to have you here, and we had a phenomenal night, and it was wonderful to share it with you.
Great. And which character did you play tonight?
I played Rosalind. She is a young woman who is at an impasse. Something has got to change in her life, and she doesn't quite know how to affect that change, but that it happens to her, and so then she must adapt.
If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I think it's an unexpected, exciting, thrilling night of theater. It's 4 actors in a small room with a small audience. I think it moves quickly. There are laughs, and maybe there are some tears. Who knows?
You know, this reminded me of an episode of The Twilight Zone.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, first of all, it's very surreal.
I don't want to give away too much, but I love the Twilight Zone reference, and I think this play is definitely, it explores relevant themes within a surreal concept, surreal framework.
Right, I don't want to give too much, but it was fantastic. I loved your acting, very believable. Even though, again, you were playing this bizarre character, you were very believable.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
All right, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Have a fabulous night.
Forever Bound will be playing at the Atwater Village Theater from May 11th to June 16th. For more information, go to www.facebook.com/foreverboundtheplay2018. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Theater 68 for their presentation of An Evening of Betrayal.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Adam J. Smith. Well, I'm here. I just finished playing Jerry in Betrayal and Iago in Othello in our Evening of Betrayal. So I'm my head's swimming in different time periods, and we did them both backwards. So, but it's great. It was a great opening. You know, Jerry is someone who he always thinks, actually Jerry and Iago both have something in common, and I think they always think they're smarter than everybody else around them. In Jerry's case, he's wrong, because he often has made errors in judgment and thinks that people haven't found out things that they have, or that he knows things that people, that other people have known for a while that he hasn't known. But Iago always knows what's going on. Iago also has quite a bit of good fortune that helps him in his situation, but Iago is very much, he is the smartest person in the room. Jerry just thinks he is.
Well, first of all, I really enjoyed I enjoyed the Pinter piece. It was actually very charming. It had the theme of a British theater piece, in which basically was very witty. It was actually very well done. And even though it encompassed like 10 years of time, it was just well told.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think for me, Betrayal is one of the great pieces of 20th century theater, dramatic literature. I think it's a near perfectly written play, and I think someone said, well, why is this still relevant? Because so much of it is in the 70s to the late 60s, and I think it's a pretty uniform. Well, clearly Shakespeare was writing about it 400 years ago, so this is still very relevant, right? And I think Pinter has just captured so much with such economy of language. And yes, it is very British, and it's very darkly funny, and at times it's also deeply painful. Sometimes those pauses and silences are deadly.
Also, I really love the actors. I have to compliment you guys, because first of all, I'm not sure if the characters were very similar to each other. Maybe Pinter actually used Othello as theme, or just maybe you're acting, because you put so much into your acting that you just became the characters, so they just all seem like they're similar.
Yeah, I mean, I think once we started to dig into both the plays, we all started to find out what the where the similarities, where the overlaps were in our characters, and we really started to hear. And this was all Lisa, who plays Emma and Desdemona. This was all sort of her brainchild to come up with this pairing of these two plays. And once you start to work on them, you definitely start to hear the echoes and the overlaps and the resonances between the two. And I think it's just natural when you're an actor in both that you then start to look for kind of a through line that may not have otherwise been there, and so that's us bringing ourselves to this particular configuration of these plays.
Yeah. Well, again, I can't underscore that enough, because I've seen you in ICT. I've seen you in several pieces. Right. I've actually seen the other actors here. Fantastic actors. I loved your movement, your positioning. I loved your voice. I loved the meter the guys are doing.
It's a great group. Yeah. It's a really outstanding group of actors. I'm very lucky, and we all, I think, it's one of those things where it's just a joy to get in the room and work with one another.
Right. And I enjoyed the pieces, but without acting like this, I'm not sure if I could have sat through a piece of Othello and an entire piece of Pinter. But the acting was so fantastic that you guys made it a pleasure.
Great. Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate you coming.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Lisa Seneca. I am the co-artistic director of the Sixth Act, and I did the adaptation of the Othello that we're doing, and I'm also an actor in the show.
And which character did you play?
I play Emma in Betrayal, and I play Desdemona, and then very, very briefly as Bianca in Othello.
Yeah. What's your take on those characters?
Well, I think they are very, very different. Desdemona is a very honest, very virtuous woman. She is very much in love with her husband and wouldn't even dream of being unfaithful or hurting him or betraying him in any way. And Emma is, I think, incredibly good at compartmentalizing her life. She is quite a good liar. She, I think, genuinely loves Jerry, this man she's having an affair with. I think she at one time did very much love her husband. So I think it's a very kind of complicated and human relationship that she has with these two men, and she tries to navigate it as best as she can until it all kind of falls apart, as I think it inevitably usually does.
I love the pieces here. First of all, I love your adaptation on Othello. Yeah, because basically, first of all, to sit through a piece of Othello and an entire piece of Pinter, that's very challenging, even for someone who loves theater.
Yes.
But I mean, First of all, it was beautifully done. It was a different take in it, and I was fine with it, basically. Because, even for me, I mean, I get to go to the theater every week, so I can just leave and no big deal, really, But I just love these pieces.
Thank you so much. Well, I really appreciate that, and I know that we are asking a lot of the audience. We are challenging the audience and asking them to really go on this ride with us and know that it will be a full night of theater, and we're really asking you to listen to this writing. And for us, from the beginning, it really has been kind of this celebration of these incredible writers. These really, I think you can say masters, both Pinter and Shakespeare, and in such different ways. Their styles were so completely different. Pinter was, I think, kind of the master of economy. And if you look at these little exchanges that the characters have out of context, they seem really innocuous. They seem flat. They seem everyday. These, how are you? Fine. How are you? But the way in which he organizes it, the pauses, the silences, everything becomes kind of weaponized in a way. And I admire it so much. And then Shakespeare is this, after we've had this economy and these uncomfortable silences, then we have this overflow of poetry. So it is, it's a lot for an audience to take in, and we really hope that people just kind of surrender to the ride.
I have to compliment the actors also. It was just a wonderful presentation, because again, the very meter, the Shakespearean meter, the accents, the engagement with the audience, you just played it perfectly. I mean, I was really taken by the skill of the acting themselves. It's just very, very masterful.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, thank you. That's very, very kind. I feel very lucky. I have 3 incredible actors that I get to work with, and that's just a gift as an actor to have such incredible people to work off of.
Yeah. Well, again, I knew very well it would be a good cast, just because I've met a few of you. Like I've met you at NTS, right? And I think I met several other players at ICT and all that.
Yeah.
So basically, I highly recommend this piece, not only because it's two masterful pieces for the price of one ticket, but also outstanding cast, because I don't think if a lighter cast did this, I'd actually be able to sit through. And again, me being a theater reviewer, basically, if I left, it'd be no big deal. I get to go to a show tomorrow, but I stayed because I really enjoyed myself.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that, and really, you're exactly the kind of audience we hope will come see this and enjoy it.
Okay. Well, once again, I love it. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm on KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
William Demerit. This is my first show in Los Angeles. I've been living in LA for about 4 weeks. I just moved from New York by way of the Humana Festival. And yeah, here I am.
And which character did you play tonight?
I played Robert in Betrayal and Othello in Othello.
All right, what's your take on those 2 characters?
What's my take? I think they're good complementary characters. I think Robert has a lot of things surging underneath that he barely lets through, and I think Othello tries very hard and does not succeed in keeping the things buried.
Yeah. Basically, I thought you guys were fantastic actors. First of all,
that's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, the pieces, again, and to sit through a piece of Othello, even though I like theater, and an entire piece of Pinter would be challenging, but you guys were such fantastic actors that I didn't feel bored. I didn't feel like I was falling asleep. I knew it was long, and I had to sit there for a very long time. But again, it was very, very well done.
Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you. We were hoping that sort of the accelerated pace of Othello would keep people riveted. Plus the sort of, the story, but you don't know it told this way, so maybe people would sort of follow along in a different way with the story.
Yeah. Well, the story was done backwards, which is very. I assume Pinter actually did his story backwards. So do you guys marry? Or just all right, Pinter's doing backwards. Let's just do Othello backwards.
So Lisa, who's our adapter and co-producer, it was her idea because the Pinter text, the original text of Betrayal, is told in almost entirely reverse chronological order with a couple hiccups, and she wanted to explore that theme and thought, let's do
let's do Othello with 4 actors also told backwards to mirror Pinter. And, it's very challenging for all of us, especially for me, having to start as Othello at the top, murdering my wife, and then sort of work my way down. But yeah, I'm hoping that eventually I'll train my muscles to do it.
If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I think they should expect to see an evening of theater that they've probably never seen, which is 2 of the greatest playwrights in the English language, side by side in a way which I think you'll be able to see one's influences on the other. And also you'll be able to see a story that most people know Othello-ish, but they've probably never seen it. And now you get to see it in a way that not many people will have. And you get to see, really innovative LA theater where you see, thank you very much, some I think, really high-quality actors flexing almost all the muscles that they have, but actually just really telling an interesting story, which is truly the reason why we're here, right?
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I love the actors. I mean, you and the rest of your cast, because again, doing the British accent, doing even the British meter, and doing the British, mannerisms, the politeness, the charm. It was just wonderfully done.
Thank you very much. We cheated a little bit because our director is British, so she hammered some of the fine dining points. We had that little eating scene, and she's like, "You don't gesture with your fork," and that type of stuff. But it is challenging to also not have the characters bleed too much, because I can't have Othello start talking in a British accent. That wouldn't work.
Well, I love it. And remember, fork, times down. Remember? The fork. You're eating with your fork upside down.
Yes.
The British, right?
The times down.
Times down, remember?
Got to keep the times down always. Probably impress my fiance's family if I did that a little better, too.
Okay. Once again, I really loved it. Love the acting in it. Powerful pieces. Great piece of theater. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much for your time and for seeing the show and for your kind words.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm on KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with...
My name is Luke McClure. I play Emilia Cassio and the Italian waiter in Betrayal. Come and see this show. It's phenomenal. You won't see anything like it. 2 master wordsmiths tackling the same theme that is universal, and that is of betrayal, and highly recommend it. What's interesting is the journey as we tell it. In Othello, we tell it backwards. Spoiler alert. And so what's interesting is to untangle the events that lead to the climax, but doing it in reverse order, and also exploring the theme of betrayal and the theme of guilt and the theme of love lost through 2 different characters was a really meaningful and kind of eye-opening experience. So I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it a lot too. Well, first of all, if you think about sitting through a play of Othello and also another play, a double feature.
Shudder. Yeah. It scares you.
Yeah, but I'm surprised that actually, I really like the theater, but even I have my limits. But I'm just surprised that I could sit through the whole thing without really it being a problem. Because even normal Shakespeare, if you sit through a normal Shakespeare, if you've seen it for a few times, you kind of get a little lost. You kind of. But this thing, I think doing it backwards actually kind of gave it a different twist for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's interesting, and this is a testament to the genius of our producer, Lisa Seneca, is that she stripped it away. It's really bare bones Othello with just 4 or 5 main characters, and in a sense that distilled version just hits right to the heart, and the audience doesn't even have time to really think about how strange the structure of it is, and hopefully, I'd be interested to hear, but hopefully the audience is drawing parallels to the first act of Betrayal and the relationships in that, and the mirror relationships and developments that might occur between the 2, even though they're 2 plays that were written 300-400 years apart. So that's kind of the magic, I hope.
Yeah, interesting. So, did the writer actually of the second play use Othello as its theme? Because the characters seem to match very well.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good question. I don't know if Pinter was inspired by Othello. You'd have to ask Lisa that. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm sure that he has studied and read Shakespeare's plays, but I have no idea. That's a really good question.
Well, I really enjoyed the pieces. I really enjoyed your acting today also.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate it.
Right, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
An Evening of Betrayal will be playing at Theater 68 from June 1st to the 24th. For more information, go to www.the6thact.com.